Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and whatever fuck time of day it is by you. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining. If you are new to the channel, please go down, hit that subscribe button. It helps out, lets me know that all this matters, that you care at all. I appreciate it, and makes me want to keep doing it. So, let's get into it. Going to take a quick look at Bitcoin this morning, just market overall. We are finally getting to a point where altcoins might be tradable again, but I'm still keeping my altcoin positions smaller and a minority of my account. As I have said in the past few videos, if Bitcoin drops, then the USD value of altcoins is going to go down with it, more than likely, with very few exceptions. If Bitcoin goes up from here significantly, then altcoins likely will not rally as quickly yet. So, Bitcoin is the thing to watch still. I do have 2 open altcoin trades at the moment. And then just some, pennies and a few long shot things. This is very likely near the bottom for many things, so, if it's not a significant amount, might be worth punting a few. But make sure you've got a good reason to get into whatever it is you're doing, and know that whether Bitcoin goes up or down, the USD value and or Bitcoin value of the alt is likely to go down short term. All right, so let's take a long-term look real quick. Jump up to the monthly chart here. We had monthly close, of course, not too terribly long ago, right down there. And current month is bouncing around. So I'm just going to put a couple lines here. Trying out a new color scheme just to see how I like it. Change things up from time to time just to keep it interesting. So those are the monthly levels, keeping those ones white, just so I know that that's the monthly. All right. Going down to the weekly level, you can see how a lot of weekly action has been taking place within those monthly levels there. Above that monthly level is pretty good for us, and below it, of course, is bearish. On a weekly basis, I'm going to use these orange lines, and this is just some price action stuff. I'm just looking at opens and closes. Now, we did have this. I'm still putting the major weekly level down here at 9.5, but we did have this little higher low, so it's worth paying attention to. Below that, then, we can still bounce here again, but it is likely that if we get below that point, we're going to come down further. So we're still kind of in the mid-range, and actually for most of the action this year, other than down here where there was plenty of buying, we are up here right in the middle of the range, as you can see from the POC on the VPVR. Nice volume indicator. If you don't use it, it is a paid TradingView indicator, so if you have a free account, you will not be able to use it. But it just shows volume, and it shows volume in areas horizontally. So if you're doing a lot of price action trading, it is a good indicator to use. Now, these lines here, the yellow and the blue, those are just EMAs. They're pretty standard EMAs, 1326. Fast EMA is 13 up here. In bullish trends, which, on the weekly, we are obviously in a bullish trend here overall, based on the EMAs and MAs here. On price action, you can still argue that we are in a bullish trend because we are still getting these higher lows. However, we haven't really had much of a higher high. This is pretty much the same level here and here. So it is in consolidation, technically, on that. But during bullish trends, this lower 26 EMA is often tested by price. And it hasn't been since it flipped here, so I am expecting it to happen. Obviously, though, I've been expecting it to happen for weeks and weeks now, months actually, and it hasn't happened yet because we are consolidating before the next major move. Now, on the weekly, that level is currently at about 87, which is right at the top of this little area where we had a top and consolidation and then dip before moving up into our current range. So I do feel like that level has a really high probability of being hit. Likely to wick lower, certainly, into this area somewhere. I find it unlikely that we will actually get the chance to buy in the mid 7,000s. I don't think anymore that will happen. But we might get the chance to hit that 8,000 level there, or even maybe about 815. That seems possible. But this at the 875 level, 88, that seems much more likely to me. So that is an area that I'm going to be watching. If I get the chance to buy it and it looks good, I'm definitely going to be re-entering with a major portion of my position. My major position is still cash at the moment. I've just been doing a little bit less trading the past 2 weeks because I've had some other stuff going on, some cool developments. But I am watching this. It's not impossible for us to come back up and retest the top of that range. I am still operating under the impression, though, that moves up from here for the moment are just short-term bull traps. And you see how we keep hitting inside this level? Yeah, we're getting wicks out of it, but candles keep closing below or inside this level. And this is right in the mid-range. We're having a lot... I would say the bulls are having a lot of trouble getting price back above that mid-range. That doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me. If we look over here on the shorter term chart, there was this huge candle this morning. That's definitely looks like potentially a little tweezer bottom there. So that could be a reversal signal short term here. Could even possibly end up becoming a little inverse head and shoulders, but nothing. We'll look at that in a minute. Let's stick to this. Let's stick to the longer term chart here. All right, so we've got this stuff going on. That is still an area that I'm looking at. And let's move down to the daily now that we have all those levels marked. Okay, cool. So weekly is still technically in a bullish trend. Daily, however, is just consolidating back and forth. Lots of people are watching still. Same thing. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you've seen me draw it. There's a couple different ways to draw it. Let's just change this to nice red color. Boom. You could draw it on here. That was the first one. And you can see how we've come up and just kind of bounced along that same level a whole bunch of times. Hope you can see that there. That red resistance there from those previous highs of this range. And we are consolidating right under that, right along that. That has a lot of potential. I'm going to talk about those EMAs in just a second there. A lot of potential for a move up and out of there because we are just kind of consolidating along that. Now, you can also draw that top resistance this way. And that one, we did come up and hit it. It's the same sort of thing. This is a triangle. To me, it is a descending triangle right now, which is bearish. So if you trade triangles, definitely just something to pay attention to. I'm not a big triangle trader myself, but now let's just change color on that so getting a lot of lines here. All right, so those red lines, that's that triangle. That's all it is. It's a descending triangle. Descending triangles tend to break bearish about 60 to 75% of the time. So it's not an absolute. It can still pop out of there, but if it does, it has potential to just be another bull trap. And I could see that coming up to the 11.5 area before coming back down and then even breaking it at that point. So not an impossible scenario, not even an unlikely scenario per se. But the daily close is going to mean a lot to me today because I do pay a lot more attention to EMAs, especially on the higher time frames for longer term moves than I do to triangles like that and stuff. Now, I do watch that triangle because a lot of people are watching it, and people on Twitter are fucking talking about it, even if they don't trade it, it's the same idea. So, anyway, with the EMA here, this is about to flip. If this candle today, if the daily candle closes up here, it is very likely that those EMAs will flip bullish again, like they did back here. We did flip those bearish back here, which is why I've been kind of sitting out ever since that big spike up there. It tricked me, and then I got back out. So price has come back to mostly where I exited. It's kind of bouncing around there right now. Now, if this candle closes below those EMAs, they stay bearish. If it closes above today, then they're going to flip bullish likely. So today's close is going to be very interesting. Now it's a Monday, and if you looked at my last video, you saw that I just pointed out that Mondays tend to have an interesting feature. So we've got Monday here, and then on the 2nd, this was Monday here. We've got another Monday right here, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, that's the Monday there. And then this is the Monday, I believe, before. So Mondays, more often than not recently here, have just been the day where the opposite thing happens that happens the rest of the week. You could say this is an exception, but overall, I mean, this past week here, Monday was up, and there was some up after that, but most things are coming down. And overall, there is still a lot of downward pressure. I'll show you what I mean on that in a second. But we've got that just downward pressure going, so I'm not totally convinced that the bulls are going to push this up and out yet. As I said in the last video, I was expecting a push up and a bull trap, potentially. And that's still what I'm kind of watching for. I'm looking at here. This is, I mean, this candle especially. We had this little consolidation, and then that day it popped up, and then that candle just shot down. It was, if you were watching it, it was very, very sudden and strong rejection there. And that's the kind of rejection bears want to see, is a really strong rejection there, which if you saw that red line that I drew from the top, that was kind of the resistance of that triangle. Also, if you look here, it was that monthly level. So this is that monthly high close. That was 3 months ago, technically here, that the monthly closed up, and then the next 2 months have closed down below that level. So that is an important level. We continue to close below it. We also have continued to close below this high at 10.93, which was a big high point that I was watching, as well as that monthly level at about 10.765. Really, I want to see a close above that and above the POC from this area, which all those things are kind of in that same level there. So I want to see that happen. Now, if things are to remain bullish and continue so on a higher time frame, I am still expecting those short term to come down. We don't often get triple bottoms on Bitcoin like this that remain bullish. It's just not something that happens a lot. And I believe someone on Twitter pointed out historically how many times it has happened. And of all the times that Bitcoin has had a triple bottom, I believe it was only one time that it continued bullish afterwards. So I am still expecting this to be a trap. Now, what level invalidates that for me? A close above this 10.94, basically. That definitely invalidates it for me. But this whole area, if there's some daily closes up in here, I will play it safe and re-enter, just as I did here. And if I get trapped and stopped out again, that's not a problem. I don't mind losing a little bit to enter at that point. I'm not interested in entering here really until I get this daily close and a flip of those EMAs potentially. If we drop back below 10.2 though, that's a level that I would not be interested in really staying in the market, because that would just be another test of that 10K level, and it's too many. It's been hit so many times, and it's such a big round number. I just think if we come back down again, we did have a strong pop-up from it, as you can see over here today. But again, like, especially if we hit it again today or tomorrow, it's just so many tests of that level so quickly. I would be more interested in buying higher than magically just, nailing that 10K level again as it comes down to hit it for the billionth time here over the past few months. And that's just playing it safe. If you are trading intraday, you can see some stuff over here. I just have a 4-hour chart pulled up. Not really any true divergence here on these levels, OBV and stuff like that. You can look at RSI and things, but for divergence, I'm mostly paying attention to the RSI sometimes, which I've got up here, the MACD, and the OBV. But the EMAs are a big thing for me that I watch for longer term signals. Day trading and stuff, I trade on much lower time frames than this. This is all just bias, looking at what the market is likely to do, and telling me, which positions I should be more interested in. There's not a lot of strong signals here because of the consolidation. There was divergence here on this, but I was already out of the market at that point, so it wasn't something that I was really paying a lot of attention to. Now, this candle, let's look at this for a second. We had this big shot up this morning. Nice little bottom, in this same area from before we dropped down. So that is something that bulls definitely want to see us holding this area again. But this was a pretty low drop. All the way back to 10. The intraday bias for me has kind of flipped on that. This is definitely a strong rejection of that 10K level. But I really want to see a 4-hour candle close above this 10.56 intraday here. And you can see how we came up to that level and rejected. The EMAs on the 4-hour there are technically bearish right now, but they flip back and forth a lot during consolidations, as you can see over in here. So I pay less attention to those on the lower time frames, more attention to other things. There is some short-term, what I call false divergence here, certainly. And that's good enough for consolidation or a pop-up short term. But it is not true divergence, and it is not something that I would be interested in playing on a longer term basis. What this tells me is I might just get another opportunity to sell higher, and I would be looking back at that monthly level. This could potentially turn into a little head and shoulders pattern at that level or near it. So yeah, not a lot of strong signals there one way or the other. We are definitely consolidating. If you are a longer term trader or investor, this is not a moment where I would personally be interested in buying. If you are short term trading, you heard my bias in the video. I've told you why I have that bias. I think that today is a good day to sit out of the market overall, unless you are already in a position that you are happy with, or you have a good short-term scalping strategy that you follow. If this daily can come up and close above this previous open close here at 10.49. That's a great sign for the bulls. If it can close above this level, it's even better. And above that monthly, that, like I said, is a very bullish sign to me. This daily candle, I think, is going to be very important, as I said, either way. So I will be paying more attention to the close of it tonight. All right. Have fun out there, guys. Enjoy. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And hit the notification button so you get notified right when I'm posting new videos, so you're not watching these 3 days later where they may not have as much importance, especially in the moment. One thing I forgot to talk about was that downward pressure. So this is what I'm talking about here. Overall, there is downward pressure on the MACD here, on the RSI. Some rounding of those indicators certainly, and some upward pressure on those equal lows. But this is a stronger downward pattern, as you can tell. We're just holding those, and each hold of that low around 9.5, which is that weekly, monthly level now, every time we've come to it, the bounce from it has been less strong. And that's just showing downward pressure. That's what that is. You can see it here too, downward pressure overall. This downward pressure, even though there was a lot of an equal volume, it was a much lower price right there. So you're just seeing a lot of downward pressure overall. And that's something that I do pay a lot of attention to, volume-wise, price-wise, all that jazz. All right. Definitely hit that subscribe button, join, comment on stuff. Let me know if you want to see changes, improvements. Let me know what you thought of this new color scheme here. Not really sure I love it. I'm just playing around. I do like black backgrounds overall, but I know some people have said it's a little bit harder to see in the videos, so just trying it out. I do like colored candles, and I like using some other stuff too. I'll use bars, especially on lower time frames, but with bars, I don't really typically enjoy when they are colored so much. Thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing. And let me know in comments if you have other ideas, or if you have ideas for the channel, or if you'd like to join for a live stream. Especially if you have a YouTube channel, let me know. I'd be happy to take a look and bring you on sometime. All right, have fun. Go out there, trade, make money. Don't hold altcoins that are dropping to zero. Don't fucking lose all your money. Be smart. Be smart. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have risk management, money management skills, go out and learn that. Learn the technical analysis, learn some stuff about that. There's lots of ideas out there. Find something that, you connect with that works for you. But the most important thing, knowing how to cut losses and how to let good trades keep going. You need to learn the skills of money management and risk management. Money management, includes risk management. But you need to focus on that at first, certainly. I'm not going to go into that kind of stuff in this video. I might make some educational videos about that stuff at some point. But just know, that is the most important thing that I can think of. If you have those skills, you can fucking just bet 50-50 on shit, and you can still win, potentially. Anybody out there that says, they're gonna make you $1 million in 2 weeks. They're gonna, show you the secrets of everything. It's all bullshit. That's an industry of scam artists that has existed as long as markets have existed, and don't fall for that shit. Just do the work. Start a trading journal. Really learn what the fuck you're doing. This is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. That's why most people lose money and the people at the top are making it. So get out there, put in the work, have fun, guys. Don't lose all your fucking money. All right, enjoy.